Hello everybody, Dr. Rick here, dropping in on you. I don't plan to be here long, but it's definitely something that I need to talk about. If you haven't checked out the video that precedes this one, definitely go back and check it out. When will black people say enough is enough? You need to check that one out. I think it's something that you can glean from that and take from that. I think it's something that is there for you, so definitely check that out. I want to say the town is Greensboro, North Carolina. It's a very small town, something like Uvalde in Texas, where that senseless killing of kids and teachers took place a couple of days ago. But here in Greensboro, it's a population of about 10,000 people, very small town. But in the course of a 15-hour period, 4 black teenagers were murdered. You're not going to see that on TV. You're not going to hear about it. It's not going to be mainstream news because it's expected. It's a part of the way things, quote unquote, are. See, I don't see anything normal about a person walking into a school and shooting kids and teachers. But I don't see anything normal about black teens being murdered, and probably and most likely by other black teens. See, that's not normal, but we've been conditioned to believe that it is. So we've been conditioned not to be disturbed by it. We have become callous to it, and we don't understand that those boys are the future. It's more easy to sit up and say how evil they are, how recalcitrant and incorrigible they are, how they are just lost and we need to let them be dealt with, and all the other things we can come up with. We are going to refuse to see the value in that. When I talk about black men lead, these are the boys that I'm thinking about. These are the boys that I was thinking about when I started my research on African American adolescent and young adult male violence, to come up with a means and a way and a strategy of reducing violence in the inner city, which was predominantly impacting black and brown males. But we're talking specifically here about what's happening in our community with black boys. So I stood up and I said, okay, where we are, and what I found was that the one thing we can do, the most impactful thing that we can do, is properly socialize them. When we properly socialize young black boys, the risk of violence is reduced. The risk of dropping out of school is reduced, which reduces the risk of incarceration. It reduces the risk of living an impoverished life. It increases the chance of getting an advanced credentials in learning and study. In other words, improving their earning potential, which is the goal. It increases their chances of being business owners. I mean, socializing young black boys isn't just about saying, hey, look, in X amount of years, you'll be a man. No, it's telling them what being a man is, how being a man is connected to their very design. It's telling them why certain things happen at different points in their development, from puberty to adolescence, why it's so important to understand your role, why it's so important to live out your destiny, knowing that you have a place and a purpose, that you are not forgotten, that you are not left out, that you do matter. But see, nobody's going to be talking about those 4 little boys that died in a matter of 15 hours. And I would have guessed that if that's happening in that short period of time, that murder is pretty common in this small place where only 10,000 people live, and lives should have greater validity, validity. But they're black lives. So what the hell, right? We get caught up in the wrong thing far too much. We get caught up in things that are system built, that are institutional, that are a part of the problem, but we find a way to navigate it, and if we can get just a piece of a victory, we feel we've won. That car you driving don't mean you won. That house you live in don't mean you won. If you're not in a position where you can lift up many, you haven't won in life. You've been distracted. One of the biggest problems we have is we're distracted by our perceived success. We're caught up in our own world of illusion and being delusional. I said this a long time ago, and I'll stand on this to the day I die, that if my success and the things that I've been able to accomplish in my life keeps me as an anomaly, meaning a rarity, then I failed. Then my work is not done yet. Success and high attainment should be an expectation, not something to be celebrated and praised. It should be, hey, this is what we do. This is who we are. But that's not where we're at right now. We're at a point where Black Death is expected. That we have become so hardened and indifferent to the suffering of our people that we can see our people in poverty and feel that's where we belong. Forget that we were socially engineered into it. It's where we belong. We don't even want to worry about and figure out how to get out of it. If I can just figure it out, that's good for me. It's not good enough for me, though. And, it is what it is. But I can tell you that it's not good enough for me. I'm not satisfied with just being a person who can live a decent life and a fulfilled life. And I'm looking around and my people are suffering. I know it's an individualized culture now. We worry about ourselves. Let everybody live and let live, and don't. It ain't my business and everything else. And what we don't understand that we live in a world of enclaves and joint cultures where people live amongst themselves and support one another and fight for one another and push. Asians have their enclaves. Asians have entire parts of towns dedicated to them and their survival and their financial and economic up-push. Arabs, the same thing. Latinos, the same thing. We're the ones sitting around and complaining and whining but doing nothing. We've got work to do. I have challenged and challenged and challenged and challenged, and I will continue to challenge. It's time to stand up. It's time to do something. That one little town in South Carolina is simply a microcosm of a much bigger issue that we have not confronted. When I created Black Man Lead, I created it to be a universal rite of passage, a standard by which Black men would live their lives, and we would inculcate it and socialize it into young Black males until we had a generation of men who were willing to stand up and carry out their destiny. That is still my belief. That is still my hope. That is still what I am trusting God to allow me to do in this world. But we need to work, because every last one of those lives takes a piece of me with it, because they matter to me. I don't care if they don't matter to anyone else. They matter to me. They weren't born to be murdered. They weren't born to be murderers. They were born with a destiny and a purpose, just like me, just like you. And we aren't giving them a fair shot. Shame on us. I'm going to keep pushing my program. I'm going to keep fighting for my program. I'm going to keep doing everything I can to get this program on a national level, to get this program in a place where I can sit up and see little boys coming out and being rescued and turned around, little boys developing an aspiration and an inspiration to become something exceptional and extraordinary, to be more than just a statistic or a body in a bed inside of a cell. We owe it to them. Yes, I live in a comfortable place. Yes, I have survived all the attacks and the setbacks to be able to do some exceptional things in my life and to be able to take care of my family. But that doesn't excuse me from my responsibility as a position leader in my community. I still have a responsibility to touch little boys that don't have dads, touch little boys whose dads are gone around, touch little boys whose dads are incarcerated. I have a responsibility to be a catalyst of change, an instrument of change. If you believe in what I'm doing, support the work I'm doing, because somebody just contacted me and showed me that. I had just talked about it. I talk about it a lot because I put the work in. I know what's going on. Our boys are targeted from 4 and 5 years old. The moment they hit the school system, they're targeted. And we aren't preparing them. And they're falling like dominoes. And all we can see is the end result. We don't want to talk about how they got there. There can be no future without black men, just like there can be no future without black women. We've got work to do. If you want to support what I'm doing, the link is in the description box. The organization's cash out in the description box. If you have something that you're going to offer in way of skill, in way of work, volunteer, whatever, reach out to me. Send me an email. We will connect. I will talk to you. People will tell you, I will talk to you. I am not sitting up thinking I can do it all on my own. I need all the help I can get, but somebody has to step out. There has to be a universal rite of passage. There needs to be a universal understanding of what black manhood is, so we can know when a man is living up to it and hold him accountable to it and inspire him to reach it. We can't sit around redefining manhood to fit how we want to live our lives and thinking we're going to come out. Everybody chasing the bag because they've been told the bag is what makes you a man. Everybody chasing the bed because they told how many you can bed makes you a man. It's so short-sighted. It's so weak. Oh, I'm hot right now. You know, yeah, I grieve for the babies in Uvalde. But I've been grieving for mine. And when I say mine, I mean every black kid that we're losing. I've been grieving them for decades. And I've been watching how casually we watch it from the sideline. And it makes me sick. It's time to stand up. It's time to stand up. You reveal what you're really about by what you do. It's time to stand up. I love my people and I will continue to fight. But we got problems. On that note, I'm out of here.